Hello wrestling fans and sports collectors, this is Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza. Today I'm counting down the top 5 prices paid at auction for wrestling action figures since October of 2024 until the time of this recording, which is mid-December. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We feature content about collecting with a big focus on professional wrestling, particularly from the 80s and 90s, but we feature all kinds of other collectibles too, like Garbage Pail Kids, music cassettes, and vintage t-shirts. If you've been here before, I'm really glad you decided to come back. Thank you. I wanted to mention I have an eBay store as well as a Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your name in the credits of these videos, as well as 10% off everything in the CollectAWrestlePalooza eBay store every day. Links to all that stuff in the video notes. But now let's get to it. Let's count down the top 5 prices paid for pro wrestling action figures.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
I'm going to start with the criteria for this video. For a price to be included in the top 5 list, it has to be an eBay auction. Second, I'm filtering to only show legitimate, sold, and completed auctions that come up when I use the search term wrestling action figures. And new to my top 5s this time, I'm going to compare each rank with the last time I counted down wrestling action figure prices way back in June of 2024. Coming in at number 5 is a 1991 sealed inbox dual language Hasbro WWF wrestling ring, which sold at auction for $1,004. Now, I'm a man in my 40s, and I can easily say this ring as a present when I was 12 or 13 was a highlight of my childhood. It was the perfect companion to the Hasbro action figures. For any child whose imagination created matches in their own fig fed, it was a magical toy. You could choose whoever you wanted to be champion and have them win the belt however you pleased. The Hasbro ring has a few different variations depending on production runs. For instance, rings with square top ring posts are far more common than those with round top ring posts, and you can't tell unless you open the box. There's also a famous King of the Ring yellow variant that is quite rare. I don't know if the dual language version is more desirable than an English-only ring. Viewers, if you have a sense of production runs, please leave a comment and let us know. Number 5, last time I counted down wrestling action figures in June, was an on-card WWF LJN Rowdy Roddy Piper that sold for $772. I remember this one. It was a really clean-looking Piper and even had the brown boots as opposed to red, which I think is a cooler figure. $772 felt like a reasonable price for such a good-looking example of the hot rod, but our current number 5 at $1,004 is still a higher sale. Number 4 this week is an amazing action figure, the 1989 Grand Toys Wrestling Superstars Haku, an on-card figure sold at auction for $1,225. There's a lot of mystique around the 1989 Grand Toys figure line. If you're a wrestling collector, you know they only came out in Canada, and the Black Card series is very rare. You also know that most of the Black Card hard rubber wrestling figures are repacks from earlier series. The few that are new, Big Boss Man, Warlord, Black Strap Singlet, Andre the Giant, Ravishing Rick Rude, and this one, Haku, are legendary, all selling for hundreds of dollars raw and at least $1,000 on card. I used to evaluate hard rubber action figures as a kid by their pose and what moves I thought the pose could do. Haku looks like he is ready to give a gorilla press slam with his arms raised, or more likely to fly off the top turnbuckle with an Islander splash. Let's look at number 4 from June. It was another black card action figure, a Rick Rude selling for only $826. That may seem like a lot of money, but any mint on card 89 Wrestling Stars black card figure for under $1,000 is a great deal. So again, the current number 4 at $1,225 is a stronger sale. Coming in at number 3 is a 1993 Hulk Hogan Hasbro mail-away action figure still in the bag, which sold at auction for $1,500. This Hulk Hogan is one of those grail figures. Any mail-away not sold in stores will hold some rarity. This mail-away is from arguably the best wrestling action figure line of all time, the WWF Hasbros. There were 3 mail-away figures in all, a Hulk Hogan, an Undertaker, and a Bret Hart. The Undertaker usually sells for the most, but the Hogan is my favorite, since it doesn't look like any one you could buy in the stores. I believe you purchased the mail-away Hasbros from WWF magazine, but I'm not sure of that. Viewers, if you have insight, please leave a comment and let us know. And number 3 from June is the rarest card at Hasbro, the famous green card 123 Kid, which sold at auction for $998. I love this 123 Kid action figure. The green back screams 1990s, and there are so many famous stories surrounding this particular toy, from Matt Cardona burning a mint-on-card version to why Sean's eyebrows are missing on the photo. However, at only $998, number 3 from the current list is a higher price. And moving on, number 2 this week is my favorite toy from the list, 1990 Legion of Doom Wrestling Buddies, sold at auction new in box for $1,525. The original Wrestling Buddies came out in 1990, produced by Tonka Toys. Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Big Boss Man, and Jake the Snake Roberts had versions. But the Legion of Doom 2-pack may be the most desirable, as long as it's still in the box. Most Wrestling Buddies would be ripped from the package and thrown around the room or even at the toy store before it got home. Few survived in good condition, or at all. The ones that did rarely have boxes. This is a very clean example of a Legion of Doom, which is why it sold for $1,525. And number 2 from June, a mint-on-card LJN Macho Man, sold at auction for a strong $1,975. Even back when I did that countdown, I felt like 1975 was a strong sale. I think Macho Man figures command a premium because it is his rookie action figure. It is also iconic. The 3-starred design on his trunks and the shades and bandana look perfect. So the number 2 from 6 months ago is a higher price than the current number 2. And finally, coming in at number 1 is another 1989 Black Card Wrestling Superstars hard rubber action figure. A white shirt Hulk Hogan, All-American signed figure sold for $2,000. This is one of the best looking black card figures. The white shirt and the tan skin contrast the black card back perfectly. I love Hogan's red bandana. It makes him look patriotic and angry. I imagine him marching to the ring, pointing at his next foe with that trademark Hulk Hogan glare. My only critique of this figure is the placement of the signature. It looks a little cramped in the upper left-hand corner, even though the silver paint marker looks great on the black card. And number 1 from June, the same figure, but the red shirt version, graded by the Action Figure Authority as an 85, sold at auction for an amazing $7,655. That sale blows the current number 1 out of the water, but remember, the red shirt version is the collector's version of Hogan and is therefore more scarce. An 85 is also a high grade for an 89 Wrestling Superstars figure in general. I wish the white shirt version was the rare collector's series since I prefer it to the red shirt, but the red shirt Hogan is the true grail. And that does it. Which figure was your favorite? Leave a comment and let us know. Have a great week. We'll see you again soon.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.